So I'm just going to say welcome to everybody who is here live and to anyone who's watching this recorded. We're going to jump in and talk. Annie is here leading this whole beautiful book. I am Kira Polson. I'm a publisher. I will be helping bring this book to life, but Annie is the heart and soul. So Annie, I would love for you to just share. She was just sharing some great stuff. Why don't you jump in and share a little bit about this book, about your experiences, and why you feel so called to bring this book to life?
For sure. So I was just telling Kira about how there has been so many people that have reached out to me, or people that I know, they'll find someone else and then they'll say, oh, you got to talk to Annie. And just recently had someone from my ward that was like, hey, my daughter has a kiddo with autism. Can she call you? She just needs some resources. So she called me. And then another friend, he like, one of my single friends, like met a gal at some like a singles event and was like, oh, you know what? Guess what? I have this mom. You did talk to her, and like gave her my number. And I do get a lot of people reaching out, and I wish that I've always wanted this like resource to be able to help more people, because my time's limited, right? I'm a single parent as well. And so I want to help more people, but I only have so much time. So therefore, like having this resource of not just my story, but other people's stories, to be able to offer that as a resource to other moms who are just starting out in this like stupid, painful journey. Like it is so hard and scary to get this diagnosis and then say, okay, what does that even mean? Because autism is not really cut and dry. It's not like cerebral palsy or Down syndrome, or I mean, cerebral palsy might also have some like nuances, but a lot of other disorders, or not disorders, other disabilities maybe have a little more clear cut, like this is kind of the plan, or this you can expect. Where with autism, it's a guess. You are guessing at so many things, and there might be some pieces that are similar, but there's so much that's not. And so it's scary, it's overwhelming, it's daunting, this huge task of like, okay, I'm taking on being this advocate for this child. And it is scary and so heartbreaking. And like what it would have done for me had I known that I could read something that made me feel like I was coming home. And that's what I want for this book, is I want to like wrap this blanket around other women who are so terrified, who are so overwhelmed and don't have any clue where to turn. And it's not going to have all the answers. No one book would. But if you could open this book and feel like you're being wrapped in a hug of like, sister, you're not alone. We feel you, we hear you, like we see what you're going through. And just, I think about, maybe this is a crazy analogy, but like for any Harry Potter fans, in the very end, it's a spoiler, I'm sorry, but it's been out for a long time. But in the very end, right, when he's like about to go to the end, he's about to go like sacrifice himself, right? I bawl every time I read it or I watch it. Like he has his family with him, right? He walks into the fray of this battle with like the people that have passed on that love him, and they're just surrounding him as he goes into this final episode, right? And that's what I think about, is like, you're walking into this battle, but you have this army of women who are saying, I know how it feels, and I see you and I hear you. And that to me is like what this book is supposed to be about, is to create that space for moms who are just lost and overwhelmed.
I love that, Annie. And here's what's so powerful about a collaboration book is that there's a lot of books out there that are going to tell you how to do something, right? I'm sure there's a lot of books out there about autism that's mostly like from a medical professional, which is fantastic and wonderful and needed. But there's something about reading stories of mothers who have walked the same path as you that will impact you differently than anything else would, because they know exactly how you feel. And when you don't feel alone, hope happens. And hope is what heals. And hope is what helps us take the next step and go to the next day. And that's what I see the power of this book being, is that this book gets to be that hope. It gets to be the book where women land in and they find themselves in, and they know, oh my gosh, this person felt like that and I feel like that. I'm not crazy. Because that's what happens as moms. We always feel crazy no matter what our circumstances. And to know that we're not is like the biggest relief, right? So I'm really excited about this book. And I want you to talk a little bit about, maybe share a little bit of your journey, Annie, of the journey you walked with Evan and who you are now because of it, but like what you had to walk through and probably still are walking through.
For sure. And I feel like every time I think about this book, I just want to cry every time. In fact, Kira asked me to make a reel about kind of just this perspective, and I put it together and I cried like the entire time thinking about this whole process with my son. And anybody listening, I'm sure, can totally relate that when we first were talking about the possibility of him having autism, it was so scary. But I was just so like hell-bent on like, okay, then I'm going to do whatever it takes. Like, I'm going to get every opportunity that I possibly can. And at the time, I was lucky enough to be home with him. I was married at first, and so I was able to stay home with him and run the gamut of all the therapies. And here's the thing is, it's not just, oh, you sign up for therapy and we just go to therapy. Like, there's so many levels and layers and nuances to, okay, in the very beginning, at least in Arizona, there's like an early intervention. And it's, in my opinion, 0% helpful. Like, they come out and they're like, okay, well, which therapy should we do? I'm like, I don't even know what these therapies are. Like, are you kidding me? And they just like dump information on you and like fire hose you information. You're like, what do I do with any of this information? So there's also this like isolation you feel of like, how am I supposed to even know where to go and which therapy? And then even if, okay, we say we're going to do occupational therapy, which I never heard that word in my freaking life. Like, I know so many terms now that I never thought I would know. And anyway, it's like, okay, they're offering these things. You're like, you are speaking a foreign language. I don't know what you're talking about. I feel so lost. And they're like, oh, well, maybe he has lots of sensory. So maybe let's try this. But he also can't talk. So maybe we should do speech. And I'm like, I don't know, man. You tell me. And they're like, okay, we'll start with OT. Okay, great. They come in and they say, okay, you have to do sensory stuff with him. I'm like, what does that mean? And they're like, oh, you gotta do these sensory activities. And they gave me this huge list. I swear to you, there was like 50 things on this list. I'm like, okay, well, which ones do I do? They're like, he's got to figure out which ones work. I'm like, well, how the hell do I know? Like, are you serious? Okay, well, cool. So I just am gonna go through the list. I'm like, and how do I know if it's working? I don't know. I am like throwing doodles at the wall to see what's going to stick. Like, I have no clue. So I'm trying all these things, whatever. Some of them kind of seem to work, maybe not. There was no guidance. I felt like I got dropped on another planet and was supposed to figure out how to survive. And I remember feeling like, man, so much guilt about like, I don't have 16 master's degrees to like help them with all these things, you know? And I remember like so clearly this like divine voice telling me like, you're not supposed to have 16 master's degrees. Like, 16 is an exaggeration, but I'm going through like music therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, physical therapy, like all these therapies. And I remember it telling me like, you don't have to. What you have to do is trust these people that I'm giving you, because they each have a master's degree in this specific therapy. And I'm bringing this team for you to help you.
Yeah. Wow.
So that was the beginning phases of like, okay, trying to figure this out. And then it got a little bit easier as the years went by. And now like I have this phenomenal team, but that came from like having to stand up for him and be his voice in so many ways, and ways that I couldn't explain why it was a no for me. But there was one therapist that within the first 10 minutes, I was like, nope, not going to work. I couldn't give them a reason other than, I know you're not a good fit for my son.
Wow.
And I got a lot of pushback from his dad on the people that I fired. And there was, and I fired a lot of therapists. But like, I realized like, this is my job. My job is to create the very best team and create the powerhouse team that will like carry him through to hopefully teenagehood and older, whatever. But the point is that I had to give up. Like, I can't do it all for him. There's no possible way for me. I mean, no mom can meet all their kids' needs, right? But when the kid has so much extra, you really have to give up. I'm not going to meet like not even half of them.
Yeah.
So the only need I'm meeting is to just like love the crap out of him, create emotionally safe space for him, and then get all the team members that I possibly can.
And you probably didn't feel alone when you finally got that team, right?
Yeah. In fact, there's lots of times that, again, because I have been so proactive about the people that I invite into my like sacred family, because they are part of my family at this point, right? Like his BCBA, which probably all the autism moms know what that is, but our supervisor, our BCBA, we've had her since Evan was 3 and he's 9 now. And she feels like family. Like we, and I have bawled to her so many times about like, hey, I love this plan you have, but like, I don't know how to do it. And you're requiring a lot from me and I don't have any more to give. But they're always so respectful of I'm the mom and it's my call, but like, we're here to love and support you. And that has been so powerful to have those people. And I do like have also like autism mom friends. I've created some of those networks, but I know that a lot of women don't. And I know a lot of autism moms don't. They don't have those networks. They don't have those support resources. So again, why it's so valuable to like have this little compact support group, right? To like surround you with, we got you.
Yeah. Well, and that's a piece that I think is going to be really cool about this book is that not only are we going to have a lot of authors writing their stories, but you're going to have sections throughout the book that up till this point, I haven't seen a collaboration book like this. And I think it's going to be really cool where you're going to be like, here are my tips on going to the dentist if your child has autism. Here are my tips on doing this. And like just the stuff that you've learned. So this book is going to be a book full of stories and then just helpful tips so that any mom, any mama who feels lost, alone, who's walking this journey, whether they're at the beginning of the journey, the middle of the journey, wherever they are, that this book is going to meet them where they are and help them just in any way possible. So I love that you brought that aspect to this. I think I would love for you to share there was a piece, I keep hearing something. I kind of wanted to ask, I mean, I know this is like on the spot, Catherine, but I would love for you to share, if you're willing, like what pulled you to be here and what pulled you to be inspired to be a part of this book?
So I'm a mom of 3 daughters. None of them have autism, but I have far-related family. She has a daughter who is 30, I think already, with autism. In the same family, but another member of the family, there is a child who is 20 something now with Williams syndrome. So this is something which I can relate to because I saw this not from inside, but from nearby. And being a single mom as well, I mean, I know the struggles you can have being a single mom and having to cope with 1, 2, 3 children. And yeah, I was living in Spain where my family was in Belgium and Germany. So I had no family around me. Yeah. So yeah, this is where I thought, okay, I will pop in. I don't know exactly if I can help with my knowledge in one way or another, but it's something I really think a lot of people are not aware. And so probably it's also not being aware. So it seems like something it's not my problem because I'm not in this case. But I think we should bring more awareness to it.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like you probably would have a really powerful story of watching someone you love walk this path and how you saw it from the outside. I think that's a really valid story to have in this book because it will give those who are reading this book an outsider's like viewpoint of like really how powerful and amazing a mother is who's walking this path of uncertainty. And so I'm just happy you're here. Thank you for sharing that, Catherine. I want to talk a little bit about this process, Annie, and then we'll talk a little bit about what you're envisioning for these authors. So I'm sure a lot of moms couldn't come live because they all have a lot on their plates, and we really honor that, right? Like really honor that like every mom who signed up, 20 moms signed up to write in this book. It is not the easiest thing to be able to imagine writing a chapter. And I really want to bring that to the table because there's something in our brains is like, hey, I can barely function. I can barely function. How in the world would I write a chapter? And so that's what I want to talk about is the process of these books. So a little background on me is that I am a mom of 5. I have not walked the same path as everyone who's here. I don't have a child with autism, but I understand feeling pulled in a bunch of different ways. And I really like honor that all the women who are signed up, who are here, who are going to be watching this. Like it's crazy to think, how do we write a book? How do we write a chapter? And what I do is that I am a sacred writing coach, which means that I teach people how to spiritually receive their chapters, their books. And as a part of being in this book, you actually get to do 4 coaching sessions with me. I hold the space and teach everybody how to spiritually write their chapter. So I've done 3 of these collaboration books so far. Every single book, the writers have written their chapters super quickly because of the methods I'm going to teach everyone who's in this book. So we're not going to be writing from our brains because that's where it gets really noisy. And that's also where writer's block lives. We're going to be receiving. And how we do that is we actually learn how to turn off the noise in our minds and learn how to channel. And I know that word is kind of messy in the world, but if you could imagine receiving water from above, like rain, you're receiving it from above. You can actually receive information from the divine, from God. And when you learn how to do that, you just write this chapter like it just flows. It's going to take you literally an hour or 2. And you don't have to do it all at the same time. And you're going to have 4 coaching calls with me to teach you how to do that. So I'm speaking to the parts of the brain that says there's no way I can find time, because this story is not only going to massively change somebody else's life. I want you guys, everyone, to think back to the time when they were feeling the most lonely as a mother. Maybe it was when you found out your child had autism. Maybe it's further down the line when you were trying to figure out how to help your child and it wasn't working. Wherever it is on your path, I want you to think back to the time when you were the most lonely and hopeless. And if somebody had given you a book filled with other mothers' stories of walking the same path, what that would have done for you. And know that you taking an hour to 2 hours to write and receive this chapter can literally change at least one mother's life, if not hundreds and thousands of mothers' lives. I also want you to know that when you write this chapter, it actually heals you. When you write your story, especially divinely guided, it becomes healing for you. And I watch this in every collaboration book that we put together, that it heals the authors first. And I just finished a call right before this with a group. Today was our 4th coaching call, and multiple people were like, I had no idea it would heal me. And that's always what shows up. And, I think it's just because we finally get to sit and reflect, take a moment and reflect on the path that we've walked and to see how far we've come. We're never going to be at the mountaintop because there's no mountaintop, right? So if there's no mountaintop, we get to just look at how far we've come. And that is part of the healing process because we don't really take time. We're just going, surviving, putting out this fire, putting out this fire, putting out this fire. And when you sit to write your chapter, it gets to become like a healing salve. So these are the benefits of writing this chapter. You're going to change people's lives. You're going to heal your own. And you're going to learn how to do this beautiful sacred writing and be in community, because we do these calls live like this. Now, if you can't come live, they're always recorded, so you don't miss out, but you can come live, receive community, get one-on-one coaching from me and support with Annie. And Annie is going to throw out these bonus sessions where she'll just send out an email. Hey guys, I want to do a bonus session, and have you as authors show up, and you guys get to just be a community and share. How are things going as you're writing? There's going to be so much a part of this book that's going to bless your lives. But then when the book gets finished, it's going to go out and do massive miracles, because there is not one book in the world like this yet. So what are your thoughts, Annie? What do you feel inspired to share?
Well, I'm getting all emotional again, because I'm like, yeah, I even just starting this process and just starting to like think about these things and reflect, and even making this video, like all these pieces have been starting to heal little parts of myself that I have been just kind of put on the back burner, because again, all moms are busy, but then you add this like layer of being a special needs mom that like a lot of your own needs get set to the side. And so taking time to reflect on what it was like and like the trauma you went through to like do all these things, you know, like the hours and hours and hours of him screaming bloody murder, throwing himself against the wall, like all these pieces that were just hard and horrible. And I'm literally, this guy can go an hour and a half to 2 hours of just melting down. You know, it's not so much anymore, but in the beginning it was. And to reflect on those pieces, like that alone is worth it in my mind. But like, yes, that there is going to be so many other women that are going to be able to read that and feel those pieces of their own heart being filled as well. And I've had visions of like taking these books and going to like developmental pediatricians throughout the state and like offer them like a receipt discount to like just have these books to just every time a new mom comes in, it's just like part of their like welcome to the club package. You know what I mean? Like I want to get this as many hands as I can, because the world's too dark as it is, and we need more light. And when you're feeling so dark and alone, and here's the thing, like even if you're married, like sometimes your spouse doesn't get it, right? And they just have a very different emotional experience than we do. There's a lot of factors that go into that. But at the end of the day, even if you are married, like sometimes you can feel really alone as the mom and just feel so, I can't even find the bigger words. It's so hard to describe how painful it is and how overwhelming it is. And I just, I have this vision of like bringing it to so many people and allowing more people to be able to just have this as a resource. And like we said, I do want to throw in just like little mini articles of like things I've learned from like taking the medical field, and like, you know, what I would love to teach the medical field and what we can then go teach, like the reach that it could have if each of us are writing our piece and creating this book. And then also to then like take this book as many places we can and helping the medical community, the educational community, like our societal community. I have a cool way of how I explain to younger kiddos about, you know, what autism means. And so these are all resources to be able to just, when we know better, we do better. So if we can just bring things to light and just a little bit, I mean, it won't be everything under the sun, like you said, but just a few couple pieces that can really help you to be that voice. That's really the main focus here, is that you are their voice, whether they're nonverbal or they're semi-verbal, you're their voice. Evan's verbal, but there's a lot of things he can't say. And I'm sure other people have experienced this as well, but like there's times I just know what he's saying, or I know what he's trying to tell me, even if those aren't the words, you know? And so I can say, oh, no, that's not going to happen today or whatever, because I am that advocate. And so, and just knowing that you have other women saying like, it's okay to speak up. It's okay to say, no, that doesn't work for me. I even want to include some communication tools, like how you can stand up an IEP meeting and be more heard because you're using more powerful language.
Oh, I love this, Annie. I'm so on fire right now. I can feel like this book, like especially the idea of it getting into every mom's hands who goes into a pediatrician. Like, yeah, where was that book? Like that book needs to be here. That book needs to be here like yesterday, right? So I am excited. I'm going to talk a little bit about what it looks like to be an author in this book. So when you join in, we will send out an email. Actually, I think I'm going to send out like a poll. Like, what's the best time? I want to know what's the best time of day for everybody to have a call. Obviously, we can't make it work for everybody, but if we can get the majority. So we're going to set these coaching calls. Why coaching calls? Because they're like more than coaching calls, right? They're like deep, powerful, educational training, coaching. It's like all this magic, right? There's so much more than just a coaching call. So I want you to think, we're going to make this work for everybody. Hopefully we can get everybody on a call at least twice. And if you can watch the recordings, you're going to be set. Now, we're going to send out that email and we're going to let you guys choose when it's going to work for you to write. To be an author is always an investment. Now, being in a collaboration book is way, way easier than to write your own book. Why? Because you only have to write a chapter, but also the investment is way cheaper. So to be an author with Freedom House and any other publishing house, the minimum cost is $7,500. To be an author in a collaboration book, which not only is just that you get to be an author, but you get 4 coaching sessions, it's only $997. And all of this is going to pay for your coaching. It's going to pay for professional editing. So if you feel like you're not a writer, that's cool. I have an editor on staff who will professionally edit your chapter, and it's going to cover all the publishing fees. That means you pay $997 and you get everything. Plus, you get to become a published author in a book that's going to go change so many people's lives. So that's the piece that we take care of over at Freedom House, is like the whole publishing process. What's really exciting is that once the book goes live, then what we get to do is once it goes live, me and Annie are going to do all this promotional work. You guys will be able to use all the material to share that you are a published author a month after it goes live. So people have had a month to read the book, to get in, read the stories. Then they get to come to a live summit with all of us. So it's going to be like this on Zoom. We're going to invite everybody who's bought the book to show up. And the best part will be is that they get to be with the authors who told their stories. And then we're going to invite people to ask questions and just share. And it's going to be this magical experience of mamas who have walked the same path being gathered together. And so this is so much more than a chapter. This is a full-blown experience where you get to really help connect with other moms who need your help. So we'll put the link in the chat if you guys want to look at that. I'm also going to send out a whole email with this recording, and it's going to talk about everything that you get when you become an author in a collaboration book. And as always, questions, please just send them over to me. Respond to the email that I send out. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you ask. I'm super excited because I see one of my friends just popped in. Christine, I haven't seen you forever. How are you?
Oh my gosh, hi.
I miss you, friend.
I know.
How are you doing?
Good.
I'm excited to see you here.
Yeah, I don't have any kids with autism, but I was just kind of curious to see how you guys were forming the book, because I do want to do something very similar where I'm like, I want to collaborate the stories of my elderly residents and, like do something similar, because everybody always struggles with something in their lives. So,
well, I'm so happy you're here. And I will reach out to you, Christine, and we can chat one-on-one as well, because I would love to help you get that book to life. And what I love about these collaboration books that we've been talking so much about with Annie is right now, like there's no books in the world where moms are telling their story about walking with a journey of having a child with autism. And here's what I love about a collaboration book is that if Annie were to write a whole book, it would be amazing. Like, let's just get real. Annie's an amazing writer. Annie's a brilliant human, and everyone would love the book. But it would be really easy for the reader to be like, yeah, but Annie's just special. It's really easy to, when one person writes a book, for you to go, yeah, like that person's just special. So like, I couldn't really do that. This wouldn't be my results. But you grab a collaboration book filled with 15 plus authors, all telling their own individual stories that bring hope. Now a reader goes, well, actually, this is possible for me, because I have seen witness after witness after witness that they have walked through their dark night of the soul and they've made it through. They've walked through their hard times, and this is what helped them. And that's why I'm so passionate about bringing this specific collaboration book to the earth, because it's going to bring so much light and hope. So Annie, I would love for you to share if there's anything else that you want to share to really sum up what this book that you see is going to do for people.
For sure. So I see it being an opportunity to, like I talked from the beginning, just being this opportunity to wrap everybody that reads this in a big hug, to know that they are not alone. And like, I want this sounding, I don't know, what's the word? Like this trumpet to say like, listen, I see you, I hear you. I see every birthday party you had to leave early because your kid couldn't handle the sensory overload. I see how many nights you spent researching all the options to maybe try to help cure one part, or not even cure, but like help one piece of it. Or I hear your heartbreaking when these kids don't want to play with your kid because he's different. Or I hear you crying after every IEP meeting because you're not getting what you need for your kiddo. Like, I want women to feel so seen and heard. And I want there, like you said, this community to come forth of like, we are not alone in this. And like you said, I could write a book and they're like, oh, that's neat. Annie's great at writing a book. But there is something so powerful about so many women saying, look, it has been hard, but it can be okay. And you can still find joy even in all the hard. And we just need more of that in the world, to know that there's joy in everything. And that if you choose it, you can find the joy, you can find the happiness, even when it's super difficult.
And that right there, that sums us up. So I'm just going to send out the call to everyone who's watching this recording, and for you guys here, that if you feel the call in your soul to share your story in this book, if you know that your story can change someone's life, and even if your brain's like, my story can't, yes, it can, because you've walked through the hard, because you're here. And wherever you're at right now is yards and leaps further than where you once were. And so that is a story that's worth being told. That is a story that will change someone's life. And I invite you guys to join us in this powerful movement of this message, of this book. And all you have to do to join, honestly, is to just reply back and say, I'm in. That's it. Like, just reply back to the email and say, I'm in. And then I will send you the next steps. Here's the next steps of how you become the published author in this book. Here's how you join us in this beautiful journey. So it's like super simple. There's nothing hard about this. When I send this out, because most of these people are watching and recording, just know all you have to do is reply back to the email, I'm in, and I will take you to the next step. This is like one of my greatest gifts, is making things easy for moms, because I want things to be easy as a mom. So everything that's going to happen in this book is taken care of like you went to the spa. There is nothing that anybody has to figure out. Everything is really done for you. All that you have to do is show up and learn how to receive your chapter and bring it through. And it's going to be so powerful, so healing, and we're going to change the world with this book. So
I believe that. And I do want to put a plug in for Kira, because I know that like people that are friends with me that are on this, you know, or just wanting to start this journey because they know me and they don't know Kira. I just want you to know that, like, I know sometimes we see people who are business owners or whatever, and we might have a little bit of doubt around like their motive or whatever. And I want you to know that, like, to the core of who she is, like, Kira is just, she is like so divine, so powerful, and she genuinely loves people around her and is created a space for people to feel so seen and heard. I remember when I was going through my divorce and I was really scared about going into this hearing, and we were talking about a lot of things. It was a really big court hearing, and Kira sent me this like beautiful turquoise that she had sent to me and to keep with me, and like talked me through how to like surround myself in light. And it was so beautiful. Like, she just did it out of the goodness of her heart. She wasn't, you know, she just does these things. Yes, this is her business, and she genuinely loves and cares about people and wants them to be successful, and she wants them to create what's inside of them, because this is just her life mission. So you are in good hands with Kira. Like, she is phenomenal.
Thank you, Annie. Thank you. I am so grateful to know you, Annie. And, you know, I will tell, I was in New York working with my shaman. Actually, Christine knows Ia. I was working with her for a whole week, and I'm in the plane flying home, and I see your post about your podcast that you recently did, where you were asking moms who have children with autism. You said, I need stories. I want to do a podcast about this. And I remember I'm on the plane and I hear so clearly, this is a book. Like this needs to be a book. And I like message you, I'm like, my plane's about to leave, but like, Annie, this is a book. We have to get this alive. And so I just like feel like this was so guided, and I am so honored to be a part of this in any way possible. So just so grateful, Annie, that you are the brilliant being that you are. So grateful to you, beautiful women who are here today with us live, and to all the mamas who are watching the recording. Thank you for taking time. You're probably driving down the road, washing dishes or doing laundry, and we see you, we hear you, and you're just not alone. You're not alone in your struggles. And there is not enough moms telling their stories. And there are too many moms who are struggling. They are in darkness, they are in depression, they're in anxiety, and nobody is telling the stories that they need to hear. And so I just am here as a witness that, like, wherever you're at, you're seen, you're heard, you're known, your story is important. It needs to be in this book so that we can go out and really like love on these mamas who are struggling. So with that and all my emotions and all my tears, I'm just going to send everyone off with so much love. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to meeting every one of you in our coaching calls. And I hope you would just have a blessed, blessed day. Thank you guys for showing up. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Kira.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.